Welcome back to The Explainer. So today, we're taking a close look at something that's probably sitting in your kitchen right this very second. Maybe it's tossed in a fruit bowl or, tucked away in the back of your spice rack. But here's the wild part. Hundreds of years ago, you could have used this exact same thing to buy a sheep. No joke. We usually just think of ginger as a standard household staple, right? A quick flavor enhancer for a favorite meals. But as we're going to see today, it's a whole lot more than that. It is an ancient treasure with this really rich, epic history that literally spans the globe.
Okay, let's dive into this. Think about the Middle Ages for a second. The very same nubby little plant that you grab for a couple of bucks at the grocery store today, back then, it was actually one of the most expensive commodities in the entire world. It was valued so highly that people literally used it as physical currency for trade. You could actually pay for things with ginger, which, tells us right off the bat that we aren't just dealing with some basic flavor profile here. We're looking at a plant that held immense power and real, tangible worth in human history.
But before we go tracking its journey across the map, we actually need to clear up a super common misconception. We're always calling it ginger root, right? Well, technically speaking, the part of the plant we eat isn't a root at all. It's what's called a rhizome. So a rhizome is basically a plant stem that grows horizontally underground, and it acts like a secure storage vault for all the plant's nutrients. Belonging to the Zingiberaceae family, this nutrient-packed stem originally hails from Southeast Asia. And it is picky. It demands very warm, humid environments and well-drained soil to really thrive, making it an absolute powerhouse crop specifically tailored for the tropics.
Act 1. Origins and the Spice Trade. Humanity's relationship with ginger goes way, way back. We're talking thousands of years. More than 3 millennia ago, it was already this deeply rooted part of Southeast Asian culture, used for both food and traditional remedies. Then, as trade routes started to expand into ancient antiquity, huge empires in China and India really began recognizing its profound biological potential, stuff like aiding digestion and fighting off colds. From there, the idea just spread like wildfire. It traveled along these grueling, ancient trade routes all the way to the Middle East and Europe, eventually peaking in the Middle Ages as a treasure so unbelievably prized it literally tipped the scales as actual cash. When you step back and look at that kind of sweeping timeline, one thing becomes incredibly obvious. Ginger's massive historical spread, it wasn't just some passing fad. The fact that it maintained its presence and its sheer importance across shifting empires, across continents, and over thousands of years, well, that reveals its genuine, lasting worth to us. It provided real, tangible value to the folks who grew it, the merchants who traded it, and the everyday people who consumed it. But to understand exactly what drove that insane global demand, we actually need to zoom all the way in. We're going from the macro view of historical trade routes right down to the microscopic level.
Act 2. Chemistry of the spice.
Now, what's really interesting about this chemistry is the specific source of that famous heat. You see, the pungent, sharp taste of ginger isn't magic. It's the direct result of two natural chemical heavyweights, gingerol and shogal. These two compounds are responsible for practically everything we associate with the plant. They create that unmistakable spicy taste on your tongue, they produce that strong sinus-clearing aroma, and perhaps most importantly, they're the driving force behind a lot of its biological properties.
But here is where it gets absolutely fascinating. Those chemical compounds we just talked about, they aren't static. The pungent smell and that spicy burn you experience actively change based on how we treat the plant. It's like a complex puzzle. The ratio of gingerol to shogal shifts depending on the age of the rhizome when it's harvested. It changes based on the specific method used to dry it. It literally transforms based on how you cook it. Which means the fresh ginger you toss into a hot stir-fry has a fundamentally different chemical profile, and therefore a totally different heat and biological impact than the dry ginger you'd bake into a cookie. Pretty cool, right?
Act 3. Real health benefits.
Modern science has actually gone ahead and thoroughly validated what ancient cultures already knew millennia ago. When you look at the raw data, ginger is an absolute biological workhorse. It actively supports digestion, and it's highly effective at relieving nausea. Plus, because of those powerful compounds we just discussed, it also boasts some pretty notable anti-inflammatory properties. That means it goes right to work easing muscle and joint pain, which ultimately provides some vital support to your body's overall immune system.
But okay, let's pause for a crucial reality check. We have to be realistic here. While the science is incredibly impressive, ginger is a helpful assistant. It's not some magical, comprehensive cure-all. You can't just gnaw on a piece of raw ginger and expect all your ailments to instantly vanish.
The source data makes it very, very clear that these wonderful biological benefits only truly appear and maximize when they're incorporated into a wider, balanced, and healthy lifestyle. So it's an incredible tool for sure, but it's only one part of a much bigger picture.
Act 4. Culinary versatility.
And this brilliantly illustrates its incredible culinary versatility. Think about how globally adaptable it is. When you use it fresh, ginger's sharp, intense heat forms the backbone of traditional Asian cooking. But dry it out and grind it up, it completely transforms into this warm, earthy spice that powers baked goods all over the globe. Steep it in hot water, and it releases soothing compounds that clear out your sinuses and just calm your stomach right down. Or, pickle it. Then you get a bright, acidic palate cleanser used as a condiment across various cultures. Its diversity in the kitchen is honestly unmatched, and it perfectly reflects its unique ability to adapt to so many different cultural palates.
Act 5. Moderation is the key.
Now, even natural wonders demand our respect. While ginger is highly beneficial, going overboard and consuming too much can actually backfire, leading to stomach irritation. Which is incredibly ironic, right? A plant famous for soothing the stomach giving you a stomachache? But it's a very real risk if you overdo it. Because its compounds are so highly biologically active, it can also interact with certain medications you might be taking. Plus, it simply isn't a one-size-fits-all remedy for every unique human body in the exact same amounts. The big takeaway here is simple but essential. Moderation is the key to unlocking all those great benefits without triggering the risks.